So what's going on, guys? It's Captain America. Hope you guys are well, and thank you so much for coming onto this video. So as always, starting off with the match stats. So this was a 4-0 victory or win against RB London. RB London are a team that is a Pro League team. I think they are in the International Free League, but the mid-table there. But we have always beaten them. We've only lost to them once, which was a 3-2 loss just recently, and that was so unlucky, man. Like, literally. But this was a 4-0 win. It was revenge, to be honest with you, because this was the first time that we played them since that loss. But just to give you a quick update on the stats, so we did have 55% possession. We had 12 shots in total versus 3 shots from RB. From my side of things, I had a 7.3 match rating, 3 possessions won, 0 lost, and then 2 tackles made at 50%. And then man of the match for our team was Jack Wall. He had 2 goals and 1 assist. And just to give you a quick update on who was playing for us, and again it was very similar for them. They did not have, let's say, one player, which was, I think, their left back or something like that, and that was similar to us. So on right back side of things, we had Supri. Centre back, again, myself and Sergio. CDM, we had Begovic, who played a very pivotal role. And then centre midfield, we had Khalil, and then we were also trialling out Diaz in central midfield. And then Cam was Sliv, and then centre forward was TP and Jaxx. So do enjoy the game and the way that the flow of the game went. The first goal was a goal by Wall. It was a run through that he went through and he done a nice little shot. It was a bit difficult for him to pass it to TP, but it was a well taken shot regardless. And then the second goal was literally just a minute afterwards. It was like 2 goals in like 1 minute. And it was a goal from TP. It was sent across by Wall. And then the third goal was great dribbling showcase from TP. He did, I think, take on like 4 or 5 people and he cut into the box and scored, which was a great goal, by the way. So well done, TP. And then the 4th goal happening from Wall again, and yeah, to settle the scoreline. So please do, guys, enjoy the game while we talk about, like, let's say, today's topic. But before I do go into today's topic, which is going to be around the Premier League fixtures and their results from yesterday, as well as my, let's say, predictions for today's games as well. But just to give you a quick update, you know, for this match, as I've mentioned previously, we do play some very good football. You know, we are ranked, as mentioned in my previous videos, 14th globally for the seasons, and then in the world for top 100, we're positioned around 26th. And the style of football that we have, we are quick passing football. We pressure all around the pitch, and then this quick counter-attacking football as well. So a great team to play with. For those that have subscribed to the channel recently, thank you so much for the love. You know, we've got, I think, 4 subscribers yesterday that subscribed, which is absolutely insane. Thank you so much. Now we are on 278 subscribers, looking at getting into our target of 300. So yeah, if you do, guys, enjoy the video as well as the commentary over these videos, I do also place YouTube shorts as well as other short videos, let's say, on my other socials such as Instagram, TikTok, Twitter as well, so you can catch me on those platforms too. Again, the social media platform is under Captain America, which is my username for this. But yeah, so diving into what we're going to be talking about today, guys. And the first thing I want to talk about before we go into the Premier League games is around, I don't know if anyone's seen the game, but it's Dortmund versus Werder Bremen, which happened yesterday. And oh my god, man, you have to watch the game. Literally, you have to watch the game, just the highlights, because the way that the game went was, it was 1-0 to Dortmund. And then it was 2-0 Dortmund. And Dortmund, you have to take into consideration that Dortmund are playing at home. And you know how it is with the atmosphere. You've got the Dortmund wall, the yellow wall or whatever it's called. So it's quite a lot of pressure around that. And the way that the game went, as mentioned, is 2-0. 88th minute, Werder Bremen score a goal to bring it back to 2-1. There's 5 minutes added on in extra time, okay? Werder Bremen go along and they score on the 93rd minute to make it 2-2. And then my man, they scored again on the 95th minute to make it 3-2. And it was an absolute comeback. I think it's like literally 3 goals in like 6 minutes, let's say 6-7 minutes that they scored, which is absolutely insane. Like the way that they, you know, kept going on. They kept fighting on for the goal as well. They did see, you know, that Dortmund weren't to the full capacity that they should be. And the thing is, yes, they have lost their key player, such as Haaland. But again, you know, they to collapse like that within like a short period of time is absolutely phenomenal, man. It reminds me of like Barcelona as well versus Liverpool and the way that they collapsed there. But the quick turnaround for Werder Bremen was fantastic, and it's good to see them that, you know, they have beaten, you know, Dortmund in a very good style, and hopefully that does well for them in the Bundesliga. But you know, with Borussia Dortmund, let's see what happens with their signings. It was unfortunate as well that they had Haller as well, who's off injured for a while. It's just unfortunately he was, I think, reported to have like some sort of tumor or cancer. So fingers crossed that he does recover quite well. So unfortunately, Dortmund, they are quite short within their striking, let's say, prowess, and that's something that they didn't really make much of a signing within this summer market. They only made a move for Haller. But again, you just never know if he does go off injured, you know, who can they replace him with. But they do have a fantastic youth as well, Dortmund. They always have had. So no, let's see how it goes for them. But now moving over to today's, let's say, main topic, which is around the predictions of yesterday, what my analysis was, as well as my predictions for today's games. So just to give you a quick update of the teams that played yesterday and my prediction versus the actual result. I only got one prediction correct, which was Everton versus Nottingham Forest, which was 1-1 that I predicted, and it was 1-1. I honestly thought that the game of the day would have been Spurs versus Wolverhampton, okay? So Tottenham Hotspurs versus Wolverhampton, or Portugal FC as we now call it. I predicted it was going to be 3-2. And when you do look at the match stats for the game, like Wolverhampton had like 20 shots off in total, but they only had, I think, very ridiculous, I think 7 or 8 on target. Same with Tottenham Hotspur, they had like 15 shots in total and then very minimal on target. So it was a high, let's say, shooting game, but there wasn't much in terms of like actual goals happening. I honestly thought there would have been a high scoring game, like from the stats and the way that these two teams have, you know, trying to push on for like Europa as well as Champions League football. You know, Kane did score the goal to make it a historical, let's say, record for him. You know, the performance that the team had in total, like Tottenham, they were on the back end for the majority of the highlights that I was seeing in the beginning. They were in the back end. Wolverhampton were knocking on the door. You got Werder, who was playing fantastic, and he did shoot but missed quite early on, just past the post. But then, of course, you know, Tottenham being very consistently good defensively through Conte. And Conte, you know, with the Italian mindset that he does bring, defensively, you know, Tottenham are fantastic. It's just attacking prowess that they've always fallen short with recently. But no, let's see how it goes. You know, it's just great to see the partnership that they're forming with the likes of Perisic. You've got Kuchelevsky, you've got Kane, as well as, who is it? Son, main man Son, we're forgetting. And the thing is, like, Son unfortunately hasn't scored many goals as well as assisted this far season. I think there was a meme I was looking at where the partnership is now moving over to Kuchelevsky and Kane, which is quite a nice move. And the thing is, again, he's on loan. He's been on loan to Tottenham for a while now. It's an 18-month loan. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they do go on and buy him out. But honestly, he's such a fantastic player, man, for Sweden as well, national team. But in general, for Juventus, I think he will be moving back to Juventus. I don't think Tottenham will go ahead and activate any buy-in clause. I don't know if he has any clause within his contract, but what a player, man, Kuchelevsky. And then Wolverhampton, as mentioned, you know, it's surprising that they didn't like get a goal or even score as much. But no, I think, yeah, let's see what happens with them. But they've made some really exciting signings, as mentioned. You know, they've got Nunes as well as Guedes, and, you know, both having some really strong opportunities against Tottenham. And yeah, I do see them fighting for like the Europa position. I don't think United's going to get into any of the positions like 8th. That is what I predicted for them. I think Wolverhampton is going to do quite well this season, man, with the likes of the players that they have. Same with Leeds. Leeds have like a philosophy that they've built in, which is fantastic to see. And, you know, with them playing later on today against the likes of Chelsea, that will be a really good game to watch. They have made some really good and interesting acquisitions, especially as their boss has come from like the Red Bull type of team. So they've made Red Bull signings. So like we're looking at the likes of Salzburg, we're looking at Leipzig, we're looking at the New York team as well. And these type of Red Bull teams, I've mentioned it so many times, they've got this inter-club type of philosophy. So for example, if they've got some player in Red Bull New York or wherever it is, and they do, or that individual does well, they move them internally to like maybe Salzburg, which is like in Austria, like not second tier within the RB side of things, but yeah, second tier. And then it moves over to Leipzig, which is in the Bundesliga, of course, more competitive. And that is within the Red Bull side of things, the RB team, as the highest tier to get into. And they do so well with these players, man. It's always good to see. And, you know, there's so much backlash that they have received from many of the not the fans but supporters from the other clubs, because it's all about the money. But the thing is, what they've done and adopted with their style has been fantastic. It's not like the likes of, let's say, Man City, for example, where they've spent. They've actually done really well, like the likes of Salzburg as well as Leipzig, to do and grow well and consistently, bring over, within their Red Bull type of portfolio of clubs, some individually great talent. So Leeds have adopted that philosophy, especially with their new manager coming from Red Bull, and they've played quite well. Both Leeds and Chelsea with the one goal. What the hell am I saying? 1 win and 1 draw, making them, in a good position of 4 points for both. So it's going to be interesting to see how it falls. But my prediction is it's going to be 1-1. But again, I don't really trust my predictions, especially as mentioned from yesterday. I predicted Palace versus Aston Villa being, was it 2-1 to Aston Villa? But I don't know what's happening with Aston Villa. They have made a very strong defensive signing, but again, it's something that they've been lacking in general, has been in that defensive line, and that's something that they did, acquire during the summer. But I don't know what the hell's happening with them. So let's see what happens with Aston Villa. I'm quite excited by Crystal Palace. They have had a start that has been quite challenging, especially with the competition, as well as the teams that they have been playing against. But, Vieira done fantastic for them last season, managing them in a great fashion. And then, of course, the players that they do have, such as Saha, you got Easy. So all of these key players for Palace have done quite well, and now they did win, or go on to win, as 3-1. So a good team to watch out for this season as well, especially the counter-attacking beautiful play that they do play with. And then, of course, you got Fulham versus Brentford. A very local derby, and this ended up being as was it the game of the day for yesterday. I actually thought Wolves versus Tottenham would have been, but watch the game for Fulham versus Brentford. Fulham coming over, being promoted from the Championship, being first, let's say, and then you've got Brentford that can, beat Manchester United, thrash them, let's say, and sustain that position within the Premier League. So it was surprising to see, Brentford lose. I thought that they would have won, 2-1, because Fulham, they never really do well when they're back in the Premier League. Same with Norwich. It's always a fight between these two. Whenever they get relegated, they always fight back into the Premier League, but get relegated again. But no, it's good to see Fulham doing well. Mitrovic, who's always been a star Championship striker, but never a good Premier League striker, showcasing his strength as well as physique, which is something that's really important. And he bagged a goal in, which was really good to see as well. And then Brentford, Ivan Toney. He is a man that is honestly going to get acquired by the likes of, I think, West Ham, or someone like Crystal Palace as well. Like, he is a very good striker, and he's always, how do you say, he doesn't really have a good professional, let's say, mentality. He doesn't, like, for some reasons on the tweets I was watching, he doesn't really, not respect Brentford, but it's just the tweets that he says. It's like a small club, and of course he wants to move to a bigger club, which is understandable. But, at the end of the day, he still performs for Brentford, and he still showcases his trade. He was unlucky for an offside goal, literally by a margin. It could have been 3-3 at the end of this game. Very close. I think he had 2 offsides in the game. But again, a great performance from Fulham. And yeah, I think it's good to see these two clubs doing quite well. And then who else did we have? So we also had, the last ones were Leicester versus Southampton. I don't know what the hell's happening to Leicester City, man. I predicted 2-0 win. I thought Southampton, they haven't, done much within this summer market, as well as, they've fallen quite, not badly, but greatly over the past couple of seasons, which has been sad to see. And I thought that they were going to be in line for, like, relegation battle. So they did come across as a 2-1 win. I didn't see the match, but I do know that Vardy has extended his contract with Leicester, which is a great, let's say, capture of the player who's done fantastic for them over the past seasons. So I don't know what's happening with Leicester City. I just don't understand, especially with their players that they're returning back from the injury side of things. They have had many players off injured, but they are getting those players back. But again, it's going to be a case now if they're going to be able to keep Fofana as well as Tielemans over the current form within the league as such. So that will be a very big challenge for Brendan Rodgers. And then, of course, the last game was Bournemouth versus Arsenal. I did predict 2-0 to Arsenal, but it did end up as 3-0. They were hyping up Saliba's goal. Don't get me wrong, like, that goal was good, but he did play overall, generally, for the match, fantastic, okay? But that goal, anyone would have, you know, taken that shot in and it would have gone in. It's one of those sweet ones where you know that it will curl in into the top post. But no, great job to see Saliba back into Leicester the Arsenal fold. It was unfortunate to see him being loaned out to many teams. The French side of things, Marseille, he's done fantastic for, as well as the other teams that he was in. So great to see him back on the fold, and he did have a strong half-time performance with like 5 possessions won. I think he had 100% tackling as well. Passing as well was insane half-time. So good to see Saliba back in the fold for Arsenal. And yeah, guys, just the final ones now in terms of the predictions that I hope for today. So Leeds versus Chelsea, I see 1-1. West Ham versus Brighton, I see 2-1 to West Ham. Brighton, yes, they have a good team, but West Ham have the edge, especially coming off that Europa League win. And then Newcastle versus Man City will be an exciting game. I think that's going to be 2-1 to Man City. But do let me know your thoughts and predictions for today's lineup, guys, and the games that we have in play. And just your thoughts on how this game went as well against RB London. I think it's always good for us to see where we could improve as a team. But of course, we were trialling out individual players in different places for that game. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. As always, please do like and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys on tomorrow's video. Take care and bye-bye. That's us. Oh, we would have got the goal as well.